Wendell and Wild is the new stop-motion animated film directed by Henry Selick. Let's see if it's worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services just like Netflix. If you guys are like me, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more up-and-coming content. Two scheming demons strike a deal with a punk rock loving teen so they can leave the underworld and live out their dreams in the land of the living. Jordan Peele voices Wild and Keegan-Michael Key voices Wendell. This is directed by Henry Selick, who has directed some stop-motion animated films like Coraline, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and James and the Giant Peach. I'm a fan of stop-motion animated films. I love all of the detail that goes into creating these films, the hours put into it. Even if the film is not good, I still appreciate the work that went into the film. In this case, for Wendell and Wild, I thought this film was enjoyable. I thought that all of the stop motion animation was beautiful. You tell all the details from the demons to the underworld to the land of the living, the small town, the costumes, everything about it seemed like there was so much work that went into it. See the love and the creation for every single character, every single scene, and that is what I admired the most about Wendell and Wild, is that love that went into this film, because every single scene you feel all of the details, how it is important to the scene and the creators of this film as well. This film reunites Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key, who I loved together on the show Key and Peele. They went off and did their own things. Jordan Peele has been directing films. Keegan-Michael Key is constantly in films, but this film brings them back together, and you see that love that they have for each other and that chemistry that they have when they voice these two demons. It's easy for them to have these conversations, or if they're arguing or just having fun, it flows very naturally. You feel that friendship that they have in real life, and it translates nicely into the voice acting for these characters. The film takes on a little too much. Wendell and Wild want to create this theme park, but they have to get out of the underworld into the land of the living. Then they befriend this young girl who is an orphan. And then there's this side story involving this large company that needs certain members of the board to be risen from the dead. And we have some other storylines going throughout. It's a type of story where you start off with one thing, then it tries to do something else and connect it, but then they're trying to connect this part to something else and then this part to something else, and so it's just kind of going all over the place, and it starts to lose its tracks when you start to introduce new things and new characters. You're taking away from where it was in the beginning of the film, and that's with the Demon Brothers, Wendell and Wild, and them wanting to create this park. And they're trying to help this young girl as well. But then when you start to introduce these members of the board and this evil company and then other characters as well and other motivations, it really just starts to lose its focus and really takes on a lot. You don't appreciate these smaller stories as much as you appreciate the overarching story with Wendell and Wild, because they are really fun characters. And they befriend this young girl named Kat, who's voiced by Lyric Ross. And we see that friendship develop as they are trying to help each other out. Once we move away from that initial story, that is when the film starts to fall apart, and it is not as enjoyable as I hoped it would be. The setup is very strong, the underworld sequences, the stop motion animation, the introduction to Wendell and Wild. I love the punk rock look to it. It's dark, it feels like a Henry Selick film. But once we kind of veer off from the story that we got in the beginning, that's when it loses its focus, and I just really didn't care much about the middle half of the film. The end of the film was strong as well. We kind of slowed things down and were more focused on our characters in the beginning and finalizing that story that we got in the beginning of the film. But nonetheless, I did think that Wendell and Wild was enjoyable. It's funny at times, it's dark, it's got this punk rock look to it, the voice acting is great. The love going into this film and the stop motion animation is amazing. I'm so fascinated by stop motion animation films like Nightmare Before Christmas, this film, Coraline, whatever it is. I just could watch the behind the scenes making of any of those movies, and I would love to see the work that went into creating this film. It's very impressive, and like I said, even though it's not the best film I have ever seen, it's one that you have to stop and just appreciate for how good it does look. So before I give you my score for Wendell and Wild on Netflix, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit the subscribe button to get it all in one spot. And if you'd like to see where Wendell and Wild ranks amongst all the other 2022 releases I have seen this year, follow me on Letterboxd and there you can find my ranking. I'm going to go ahead and give Wendell and Wild a B-. Thank you guys for checking my review for Wendell and Wild, the new Netflix stop-motion animated film directed by Henry Selick. Have you guys seen it by chance? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up-and-coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.